Hi everyone, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel, Find Your Treasures. I'm really glad you're here. Today we're going to be talking about energy and emotions and how to understand your children's energy and emotions. And these are two big topics that I guess we maybe don't get taught before we become parents. And then suddenly we're trying to understand what are our children's emotions sort of showing to us and how can we help them. And understanding their energy, I've found, has been a really great way to understand my children's emotions and how to help them and how to figure out what they need. And this approach was the inspiration that really came to me as a divine download, which became my book, Find Your Treasure. And I've created that into my pitch book, My Soul Treasure. And we're going to be going through this today as we talk about energy and emotions. So when we think of parenting, we think of looking at our child, viewing them, I guess, to me in four ways. And one is thinking about their mind, their body, their heart, and their soul. And when we think about their mind, I guess, mainstream society is showing us the way here of, yes, we need to educate our children. And as parents, we start out at home teaching our children the alphabet, helping them learn their numbers, and we're starting to educate them and helping them to understand their emotions is really great now that there's more books and resources about that, and it's slowly getting its way into our schools, which is great. When we think about how we're educating our children's mind, you might be homeschooling or you might be sending your children to mainstream, schools. And that's really a whole topic on itself of how we can, educate them and nurture their mind as children, which might be another video. And then we think about, their body. So as parents, we start out, you might be breastfeeding or bottle feeding, and then you make your way, starting solids, and you learn a lot about food and what's good and how your children respond to that food. You realize and learn pretty quickly they need a lot of sleep, and that helps their body. And you're discovering, how to help them get the best night's sleep. And you're thinking about, exercise as when they're really little, they're just running around. That's helping their body. And then as they're getting older, you're realizing, encourage them into, say, sports or physical exercise to help them nurture their body. So I feel like most of us would have, figured out, mind, we kind of get that we need to help, educate their mind and then nurture their mind and then their body. We've got a lot to learn as parents about how to, feed our children well, how to help them get a really good night's sleep and how to take care of their body. And then when we come down to the heart, I feel like this is the easiest one. We all understand we're going to be loving and caring to our children. And that's, comes pretty naturally. And we're nurturing their heart. So then when we think of the fourth one, soul, how do we nurture our children's soul? And this is the one which I feel for me, when I became a parent, I was waiting to see that this was brought up into schools, how to nurture their soul. And it wasn't really there. And it was a big part of my driving, the inspiration for me to write my books. And nurturing their soul, to me, goes hand in hand with understanding our children's emotions and energy. So we're going to dive into that today and really discover how can our children's emotions, which they make pretty evident sometimes, a lot of the time, how is this related to their energy, and how are those two helping us to parent them and to nurture their soul, so that we're really taking care of, their mind, body, heart, and soul as parents. So when we're looking at their energy and emotions, we're going to start off with the base chakra. And if you have a bit of knowledge about your chakra system, you'd understand that within our body, there are actually, many chakras, energy centers, spinning our energy, moving our energy around throughout our body. There's ones above our head and there's some below our feet. But we're going to focus, for the purpose of, our perspective of parenting young children, we're going to talk about these 7 main chakras. So the first chakra we're going to talk about is our base chakra. And that is symbolized by the color red. And it is about helping us feel really grounded and safe and sound. And in my book, My Soul Treasure, it's represented by this beautiful red ruby page. And the actual affirmation here is, I am safe and sound. So when we think about our children, especially when they're very young, one of the first things that we can do to help nurture their soul is to help them feel that way all the time, being safe and sound. Obviously, it can't be all the time, but that's one of the things that we can help them as parents to really feel. And so feeling safe and sound in the story, the clue that I share with the children when I read this book is, here's the clue to help her feel safe and sound. She snuggles up. So it says snuggle down, and she's got this blanket wrapped around her and she's hugging her teddy. So as parents, we can help our children find ways to help them feel safe and sound, which nurtures their base chakra and, accentuates that feeling of being safe and sound. So that is providing them with cozy blankets. That's, why we buy squishmallows and why they might want to have so many squishmallows at the end of their bed, because it's helping them feel safe and sound. It is doing things like making, a cup of hot chocolate or Milo at the end of the day to help them, really feel warm and, safe and sound inside and cozy. It's going camping, lighting the fire, toasting marshmallows. These are all ways that we can help our children really kind of, accentuate that feeling of being safe and sound. And it's helping their energy, and we're being guided by the energy. So here in the story where it says, when you feel scared or alone, know your soul rubies will shine bright, surrounding you in a bubble of rosy red light. This gives you an actual little visualization to do with your children. So the clue is that when they're feeling sad, or scared, or alone, then when they're feeling this way, it's our job as parents to help them feel safe and sound. And often this can happen, we'd all know, when they're getting ready to go to bed. So they're feeling a bit scared or alone. So we can give them extra blankets. We can encourage that they have lots of squishmallows around them. I know with my children, we've got those giant teddy bears, which you might have come across. We've got a really big seahorse, a very big dog, and teddy bears like that, even though they might sort of make us feel as parents like, oh my gosh, they're taking up so much space in their room, they're actually helping our children to nurture their soul, to help them feel safe and sound, and it's helping their base chakra really shine. And in the story, we've got that beautiful visualization exercise of helping them to visualize or picture that they're in this bubble of rosy red light. And that's something you could do at bedtime as well. So when, you're helping them go to bed, helping them get ready to go to sleep, we're really kind of focusing on helping them feel safe and sound, which counters the emotions of feeling scared or alone. It's like the antidote to it. By giving them the blankets, all the teddy bears, helping them to visualize that bubble of rosy red light around them. And this is the basis behind the idea of using, gemstones and jewels as a symbolism. The rubies are dazzling red, so you can imagine that your base chakra is shining red and surrounding you in a bubble of red light. And the next chakra, we then move up in our system, our energy centers. So we come up to just below your belly button is your sacral chakra. And that is the orange chakra. And it is represented in My Soul Treasure by the beautiful opal orange page. And the affirmation that activates this chakra is, I am creative and colourful. And when I read the story to children at my workshops in school, we talk about, here's the clue, pick up your pencil, feel your soul expand and say, I am creative and colourful. And as parents, helping to nurture our children's soul is all about recognising that for them, their sacral chakra really shows that they need to be creative. That is going to glow really bright and be flowing when they're being creative. And for us, that means we're providing them with all of the tools and the time and space to be creative. So it's all about having the pencils there, the paints, even those great little tables that you can bring into like the lounge room where they can lean on them and have all of their pencils and textures and stuff on the side. Scissors, sticky tape, things like that in my household just are like gold. Lots of paper for them to draw on. And it's really about showing them that being creative is actually a really valuable way to be in our life. And here in the story, the emotions that it relates to is When you feel overwhelmed or stuck, know your soul opals will shine bright, surrounding you in a bubble of peachy orange light. So we can nurture our children's soul by recognizing that when they feel overwhelmed or stuck, being creative is like the antidote. So if they're feeling a bit overwhelmed at what's going on at school, perhaps, or things that are happening around the home, or anything that's happening in their life, and they feel that sense of overwhelm or really being kind of stuck in a place, maybe they're being a bit frustrated, then the antidote is let's go do something creative. Let's get out the Play-Doh, maybe make the Play-Doh. Let's get out our, paints. Let's do some colouring in, cutting up. You can think of many things here, cardboard box creation. And that is a kind of antidote to balance those emotions and to help them lift. So to me, it's always been about recognizing my children's emotions. There are no bad or good emotions. We're all human. So sometimes we're going to feel overwhelmed and stuck. But it's knowing then, what can we do once we've recognized that emotion? How can we lift? And I think of it sometimes as though if you've been, say, stuck in a well, but there's a ladder that you can climb out of. Or sometimes the ladder is how we get out of that sort of, stuck situation. And here the ladder is being creative. And then you can also visualize from your sacral chakra, this orange bubble of light glowing around you. As the third chakra that we're going to cover is our solar plexus chakra. And this is in what we think of as our gut. So it's above our belly button in our tummy. And as adults, we all know this chakra. Even if you've never heard of the word chakra before, I know you know this one, because sometimes it's easier to understand things by the opposite or the negative rather than the positive feeling. So if you know that feeling when someone has insulted you and it really feels like you've been punched in the gut, or say something's happened and it shocked you and you feel really hurt or disappointed and it really feels like that punch to the gut, that's your solar plexus chakra reacting, because it's the heart of our self-worth and our self-confidence. And so when we are, as parents, raising our children and helping to nurture their soul, we're really kind of mindful of their self-worth is really tied to their solar plexus chakra. And we can help nurture them by encouraging them to feel that sense of happiness and confidence about themselves. And how do we do that? How do we help their solar plexus chakra really glow? And the color that it's associated with is yellow. And here in My Soul Treasure, the gemstone, these are your yellow diamonds and they're your happiness gems. And the affirmation that activates it is, I am happy and confident. And here it tells us, when you feel sad or low, know your soul diamonds will shine bright, surrounding you in a bubble of sparkly yellow light. And so the clue here is when our children are really feeling sad or low and they've had that real punch to the gut feeling, we need to encourage them, we can encourage them to enjoy the sunshine. And that is about, whatever it is that lights them up. So depending on the part of the world you live in, going out into the sunshine might mean going to the beach or going for a walk on the river or playing outside. It might be jumping on the trampoline, riding your bike, going fishing. Anything where you can be out in the sunshine naturally helps our solar plexus chakra to really glow. It helps us feel happy. And when we're feeling happy in this way, it helps our self-confidence and it nurtures our self-worth. So the next chakra that we're going to go through, which helps us nurture our children's soul and their self-worth when we're thinking about their energy and emotions, is their heart chakra. And everyone knows this one. So your heart chakra is literally here located over your heart and it's associated with a beautiful green color. And in My Soul Treasure, it's this emerald green page. And when we think about raising our children, obviously when we're thinking about their heart, nurturing their heart, this has a lot to do with their relationships, with their parents, with their siblings, with their family, with their friends. So that's fantastic. And to me, I feel like we all know, how to, help our children maybe when they're having a little bit of difficulties with their siblings or with their, friends at school. But also we really want them to understand that when they're feeling lonely or hurt, which is the emotions here in My Soul Treasure, which are linked to our heart chakra. So if they're ever feeling that way of really feeling lonely or hurt, going out into nature is the best way, is the antidote, and helps them feel loving and loved. Because sometimes you might not be able to rely, say, on, a family member might not be there to help you, or a friend might not be there to help you. So where can they turn? And what can really help nurture their heart chakra as they're growing and helps build their sense of self-worth and self-confidence is this connection to nature. And when I read this page of the book in schools and my workshops, the children are so incredibly brilliant. I always ask them, why is this page, the loving and loved page? Here's the affirmation, I am loving and loved. Why is it out in nature? And they are very quick to tell me that nature loves us. The trees love us. The trees make oxygen. We breathe oxygen. So that's how much the trees love us. They give us life. And that is often a wonderful thing where I see the brilliance of our, children coming out, because they understand that innately, that we, by caring for nature, by spending time in nature, feeling that sense of wonder and awe of our beautiful natural world, we're actually helping, to feel a sense of self-love within ourselves, because we understand that, we wouldn't be here without all of our beautiful trees, without nature. So as parents, to help nurture our children's soul, we can help nurture their heart chakra by encouraging that connection with nature, by spending time outside together, pointing out all the beautiful little details that you love about being in nature, whether that's the leaves or the animals or, anything about nature that you love. And this is going to actually help your children to really nurture their soul, nurture their heart chakra, and they'll just feel that really great sense of their place in the world and a sense of self-love about themselves. Now, the next chakra is our throat chakra. We're moving up, and this is represented or symbolized by the color blue. And our throat chakra, as adults, we'd all know this one. We've all had a time where maybe you were at work or you're in a situation where you find it really difficult to say something. And that is when your throat chakra, you can kind of understand that if you're not getting to speak your truth or you're not getting to stand up for yourself, here is where you can feel blocked. And if we actually don't sort of tend to that, that can lead to, say, sore throats, physical problems here, coughs. I know of people who really manifested some really hard, blockages in their throat by not speaking their truth. So we really want to encourage our children when they're growing up to really always feel able and safe to speak their truth, because this is going to help their throat chakra, really the energy of the chakra really, move and flow and glow. So in My Soul Treasure, this is our page, which is our courage page, our soul sapphire page. And the affirmation here is, I am courageous and brave. And it says, when you feel ignored or afraid to speak, so they're the emotions that our children might feel sometimes, ignored or afraid to speak, know your soul sapphires will shine bright, surrounding you in a bubble of brilliant blue light. Take a deep breath. And that's the clue. So we can help our children as they're growing up to really realize that they have a voice, that their voice matters, that their opinion matters. They can express their opinions in a way that's respectful, but they're entitled to be heard. And they can take a deep breath before, they need to speak. And wonderful examples of this is helping them, to always feel courageous and brave enough to maybe speak their role in an assembly, or maybe speak up for themselves if they're having an issue with a friend at school, or maybe something they need to talk to their teacher about. We can encourage them that they have the ability to speak up for themselves in a way that is respectful and at the right time, but they can do that clearly and confidently. And by doing this, we're nurturing their soul. So we're helping their throat chakra energy to really feel like it's flowing and to really glow and to glow strongly. And now we get up to our mind's eye chakra. And as parents and grandparents of little children, this is one of the most important chakras to me out of all of them, because our mind's eye, is all about our imagination. And it kind of reveals to us why imaginary play is so important for young children, because this is where they are growing and they're imagining all the things that they can possibly create in the world or see or do or become one day. So as they're growing up, we cannot possibly engage in too much imaginary play. It is really like food for their soul. And this can be, all the games that you can imagine playing. So any imaginary game where you're, maybe you're dressing up as a fairy, maybe you're pretending to be a pirate, maybe you're going on an adventure in the garden, but you're actually looking for dinosaurs. Anything that you can think of is going to really help stimulate their mind's eye chakra and help them to imagine and visualize and be unlimited in that sense of understanding that the world is a really incredible place, in that what they dream and imagine helps bring these creations to life. So as young children, we can nurture that in there, nurturing their soul by helping to engage in as much imaginary play as you possibly can. And here in My Soul Treasure, it's our amethyst page, a beautiful amethyst. And it says, when you feel flat or bored, know your soul amethyst will shine bright, surrounding you in a bubble of sparkly purple light. Picture an amazing world. Feel your soul expand and say, I am inspired and imaginative. And at the heart of all new inventions, new innovations, new creations, we all know someone first had that really inspired idea. So if we want to help nurture our children's soul, help them grow up to be adults who are going to feel very equipped to create new inventions, to help the world become a better place, which we all know is needed, then it's our job as parents to help them engage in as much imaginary play as possible. We could be doing potions. We could be doing sandpit play, doing all the different things outside, which they can help, use their imagination to visualize and just it's unlimited, have so much fun doing that. And that's why in my games that I've created, there's lots of imaginary play prompts, because it's actually a really important part of nurturing our children's soul. And our seventh main chakra is our crown chakra here, which is all about feeling connected to the divine and knowing that we have inner wisdom. And in My Soul Treasure, this is a beautiful pearl page. And these are our wisdom gems. And it says, when you feel judged or confused, know your soul pearls will shine bright, surrounding you in a bubble of glowing white light. Close your eyes, feel your soul expand and say, I am wise and divine. And this page is really important too, because it reminds us as parents that in nurturing our children's soul, we're reminding our children two really important things. One, they have the inner wisdom themselves. They are born with that. They have, inner knowledge. They have their gut instincts that they can listen to. And I'll probably make a whole video on how to help our children listen to their gut instinct. But it's about letting them know you don't have to grow up to be, say, 70 to feel wise. They are wise now. And we can help nurture that sense of feeling wise by asking their opinion, listening to their opinions, asking them what they think about things. And it helps them have the opportunity to share their wisdom with us and their divinity. So this is a really big one that I feel is lacking, definitely in our education system. And you say the word divine and you might think, okay, religion. And I'm not talking about religion. Our divinity is knowing that we are part of this amazing universe. So we're part of a beautiful creation that is divine, and you only have to go out into nature to see the examples of, divinity all around us. And knowing as a child that you have a soul that's a big part of you, and trusting in your divinity and knowing that helps you understand that you have an important job to play and you're here, you're connected to a very big sort of system at work, and it's very magical. And you can talk about any aspects that resonate with you with your children. So, for example, for us, we talk a lot about angels, that they're here protecting us, watching over us. We can talk to our angels. We talk about our pets who've passed away, how much we love them. We talk about them as though they're still here. And that helps our children feel connected to the divine. We talk about loved ones in heaven who've passed away, that they're watching over us all the time. And that helps our children feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. And when we nurture this in our children, it really gives them a sense of self-worth and confidence that they're really lacking if you look at sort of mainstream society today. Knowing that you're part of something bigger. gives you that sense of, security that when you are handling tough things or challenging things, you've got support, that you're loved, you've got teams of angels helping you, you have, loved ones in heaven helping you, you have teams, guides helping you. So nurturing that in our children from a young age really helps to nurture their soul. And it helps them understand that this is their crown chakra, this is their connection to the divine, to source. So by talking about these things, angels, the divinity that we see out in the natural world, this is helping our child's crown chakra. So they are ways that help you as a parent to understand that your child's emotions relate to their energy, to their chakra system, and ways that we can help nurture our children's energy and chakras actually helps nurture their soul, which really helps them, benefit in the sense that they're nurtured mind, body, heart, and soul. They've got all of those aspects tended to. And I'd love to know in the comments what you think. If any of that, is confusing or doesn't make sense to you, or if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'd love to know what you think about that. And if there's any other questions about our children's energy that you might have, I'm here to help. So I'd love to answer them. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Okay, bye.